Welcome everyone to session 4. Wow, you guys, the time flies, but as we were talking about before we hit the record button, you guys are already seeing the results of just even some of the small pieces like focusing on a niche. And then when you go outsourcing at the trade shows or the thrift stores or wherever you're going, it's becoming much easier to really fine tune what you're looking for and know how you're going to present that to your buyers. So great job. So last session, your homework was to write 5 blog article titles. And basically it's 5 posts, we'll call them, because that's what WordPress calls them. They call them posts. And the page that they would go on if you have a website is your blog page. We're going to talk about how you can use them even if you don't have a website yet and you don't have that blog page yet. Because really, the content that you're creating can go everywhere. It just makes your life a lot easier if you have one focal point to put that content and then share it out everywhere from there. But that's not a deal breaker if you don't have that yet. We're going to talk about that more today. I just wanted to go over some of the titles you guys came up with because you did such an amazing job. And I can tell every one of you understands what your niche is by those titles that you came up with, which was really awesome to see. So for instance, you know, Lisa, you started it off and you were giving me things like Christmas in July, Joseph original figurines, possible dreams. Now those are great subject matter, but they weren't quite titles. So we worked on that. So a couple of the suggestions I made to you were instead of Christmas in July, say too hot for Christmas, or is it? For the Joseph original figurines, now anybody who knows those figurines knows there's a big difference in the newer and older figurines. And so my suggestion was black eyes or brown, which Joseph original figurines are worth collecting. See the difference there? It's just making it a little bit more sexy for somebody to want to read further, because that's the whole purpose of your title. Your title is the make it or break it of if anybody is going to keep reading. So if they're not interested in the title, they're not going to keep reading. And if they don't keep reading, they're not going to see what great content that you have. Can you guys hear me? Paul is saying I went quiet. Let me make sure. Okay, you guys hear me. Okay, it must have just been a little blip in her internet. Okay, got it. Thanks, guys. It comes and goes. You know, I actually make everybody leave the house, so I'm the only one on a computer in this house when I do these classes now. So hopefully it'll stay tight now. It might be because I have Facebook pulled up, which sucks a lot of resources. So we'll get through this and I'll close that down. Let's see, some of the other ones that I thought were just really creative and awesome. What holidays do grandparents spend the most money on? Love it. As a grandparent, I want to go read that. As a parent, I want to go read that. That's a great title. Let's see. And then with Beth, we're working on her creating this new term called the mid-sized instead of plus size or petite or size. She's coming up with mid-sized. So she's working around that in her article, saying things like, what is a mid-sized, or what does a mid-sized woman look like? Why can I wear size 10 in one store and a size 14 in another? And those kind of things. Perfect for her customer. Now, then you get down to those of you who are really, really into the collectible niches, and now people want information such as vintage and antique glass bowl manufacturers and patterns. Now, the other thing that that's going to do is it's going to have other sellers pulling up your listings or pulling up your articles and your information, which goes to your listings, which they'll also look at And if you're an appster, I know that you're pricing up at a good price and not dropping things to the bottom. So you actually can start a movement of raising prices on things that you sell site-wide, which is the benefit I like the best. I hate this race to the bottom mentality of a lot of sellers out there that think they have to beat the price. Now, writing these articles, putting the information out there, people learn that you are an expert. They go, they look at what you sell and your prices and what you sold things for, and boom, they copy you. And that just raises the prices for everything, and it's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. They may try to price under you. It's okay. Guess what? Unless they're doing the exact same thing with their brand, it's not going to hurt you because you're going to have the trust factor, the expertise factor. It will not hurt you. Let's see, what else do we have? Shelf clutter or shelf showcase. That's hard to say out loud, but that's very intriguing. I want to know what's the difference. And do guests see your collection pieces or your collection of cobwebs? Great, very intriguing. See, it gives them a little bit of what it's about and then makes them want to dig in for more. And then it's okay, I know that you have a really strong gift market. And so you're speaking perfectly to your gift buyers. Guide to perfect gift selections. Have you hugged your mug today? I love that. Home decor ideas using Clairberg home fragrance. That's one of your big lines. So really good job. Really good job. Crafters, you know, the planning your Christmas projects to make as gifts. Excellent. Excellent. Quick scrapbook designs to incorporate today. That's speaking right to your customers. So I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see, Alex, top 10 preppy wardrobe basics. Great stuff. Merry Preppy Christmas. How to infuse preppiness into your home and your wardrobe during the holidays. Good stuff. And you did 10. Bing, ding, 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 ding. Hey, you know what? If you come up with those titles, if that's something that you're inspired by, you do that and you find somebody else to write them, going with your idea, your concept, and the keywords that you're telling them that you need put out there. That's how that works really good. And then whenever you guys are doing a list of things or suggestions or collection of ideas, give it a number. Give it, 10 ideas for the collector, or 5 ways to make life easier, things like that. Always give it a specific number. People love checklists and numbers and lists. Cream cheese or sour cream? I'm really intrigued by that one, Sharon. I want to know where that goes. So, and you guys can go back through that thread and look at each other's different titles there. I've had a blast reading these. Great, great stuff. Okay, so you guys are all good to go on titles, and that give you a good feel for what you need to be doing. Awesome. All right. It also breaks it down. I know sometimes it's hard, to sit there and go, okay, I got to write an article. But if you can just come up with the title, pretty soon the rest follows and your brain starts kicking into gear and you go, oh yeah, I know what I need to write. Sometimes if you are not that good with getting the things from your brain onto the paper, so to speak, or onto the monitor, get a tape recorder and just spill your thoughts and say what you're thinking and talk. I mean, if you have a collection of something and you want to talk about it into a recorder, and you can always have that transcribed. Or there's software that will transcribe it too. Yep. All right. So great, great job. And, it doesn't stop at 5 articles. This is just to get you going. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions about how long those articles should be. Let me just bounce out of there for a minute. Um, Articles, I don't want you guys getting caught in a number of words as much as consistency. And that is what we're going to talk about today, and that's what we're going to go in. So bear with me. This is all going to come full circle, and you're going to understand better why and how to put these out there. Okay? And let me just share my screen with you. Okay, computer, come on. There we go. Okay, so today we're going to really get into social media marketing. Now that you've developed your niche, you know who you're talking to, you've got some post ideas for your blog, those same things, if you have a blog site, great, share from your blog site. Share a snippet of that article over on social media to get people to come back over to your website. That's really the big goal. So when this is all said and done, I want every one of you to have at least a one-page website that has a blog page. So actually, it can be a two-page website. But a landing page is what that's called, where you send customers to, and then on that landing page, they have information about your brand and a link to know where to go shop. Now, some of you more advanced, get those items right on your website. That's really the way to go, because then you're not paying anybody any fees. You have total control. There's no defects. You are just managing your customers, and that is a really beautiful thing. If that plan is a ways off for you, don't worry. I still want you to have a one-page site where people can find out about your brand. You can send people to. This is also really, really helpful if you're going to these trade shows and the vendor wants to see that you are a professional seller, and you give them your website. They never even have to know that you're selling on eBay or Etsy or any of those other places. Sure, there'll be a link there, but they don't go that deep. They don't go that deep. So you're going to have that, and then this is where the content gets written. So when you write an article, it goes on your website, and that's where you're sharing out on social media, because the ultimate goal is to drive people to your website, where they hopefully come buy something or click the link to see where you're listing your stuff for sale. Okay, does that make sense? Now, some of you are saying, I have no clue how to do that. There's two different things I can offer you on that. Number one is the Build Your Brand on WordPress, the workshop that's over in the Niche to Profit Academy walks you step by step through building your own WordPress website. There is also someone that I have a special offer for you guys. I negotiated a price. She will build you that very simple landing page with a blog page for $200. And if anybody's interested, just ask me over in the Facebook group. I will connect you. She is the one who built the Time Machine shopping experience website for me. So I have done work with her. She's easy to work with and very good. But the reason this is important is as we go through things, you are going to want to be collecting your customers. I know I've talked a lot about that throughout the Appster years that I've started focusing on niche, is really those customers that you get on eBay are your customers once you have them. Where are you going to send them to after they buy something from you? Why not connect and stay in front of them so that you keep sending them back to the items that you have for sale, and they don't have to randomly go look for things on eBay? Yep. All right. So let's talk specifically today about social media marketing and your plan. So your social media marketing plan, as you see there, it's the summary of everything you plan to do and hope to achieve for your business using social networks. It should include where you are today, where you want to be in the future, and all the tools you want to use to get there. That sounds simple enough for you guys? Awesome. So how do we develop this plan? Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on SMART goals, but it's really important to refresh your memory on what a SMART goal is, because as you're setting your goals, they need to be SMART goals. So they need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And if anybody has any questions on any of those, let me know, because we're not going to spend a ton of time because we've done a lot of talking about this in other workshops and things and on the Facebook group. But that's really how goals are set that will get you to where you want to go. That's why you hear me often say on the Ultimate Listing Challenge, you know, you need to not just say, I'm going to list a lot, or I'm going to list this pile, or I'm going to do this. You need to set a specific dollar amount, is what I prefer, or number that you can actually measure and attain. Here's a little template if you're having trouble with how that works out. So you say by when, you know, date, or if it's during the day, time, we will, and then what are you going to do? Who or what? What is the specific, attainable, relevant thing that you're going to attain from measure? Say you're starting at 100 Facebook likes and you want to get to 200. So that would be the number you'd put in there. Or if it's a sales percentage that you want to increase by, you put that number in there. And then through how is the what you're going to do to get there. And I've got an example there for you. By the end of July, maintain consistent activity on Twitter by increasing our daily tweets from 1 to 2 per day to 5 to 6 per day. Daily tweets will consist of original content, replies to other users, and retweets of relevant content. Okay, give a very specific thing. In 1 year, increase the number of our Facebook fans from 1,000 to 1,500 through new engagement strategies like asking for shares, posting fill-in-the-blank posts, etc. Specific things there. I can post that over in the Facebook group, absolutely. Okay, so was there a step 1? Did we skip a step 1? I'm feeling like we skipped a step 1. No, we didn't. Set objectives and goals. Oh, I was losing. It's the heat, I am telling you. Oops. All right. Step 2, assess your current social media use and how it's working for you. This session's worksheet that I have posted both in the Facebook group and it was sent out in your email. Your social media marketing worksheet has a checklist there. For right now, you can check off all the places that you actually have a presence. And by having a presence, I mean you have the page or the ID over there, whether or not you're using it, okay? That's really important. Because the first thing I want you to do is that if you are not on any of those places with your brand name, you need to go grab your ID there so nobody else does. All right, so that's the first thing to do. And then in the space next to it, you can write active next to the ones where you're actively working and using those channels, okay? And there's probably some other ones on there that could be on there, but are not nearly as important as these 6, okay? And then I've reposted the rules of niche marketing, which is to meet your customers' unique needs, speak their language with the right keywords, test the market. Not everything's going to work, so you're going to test the market. You're going to become an authority. And what you'll see, I've given you some templates there for cover photos, header images for the different sites, and then the very last page of your worksheet, there is a grid there that is going to allow you to benchmark, which means where you currently are at. So what I want you to be able to write in there is, as of today, how many Facebook likes do you have? And this is on your business page, okay? So Facebook likes. You won't use the share one until you start getting into specific posts. Your Twitter followers, your LinkedIn followers, your Pinterest followers, your YouTube subscribers, your Instagram followers. It's really important to know where you're starting out because these are going to be the measure of knowing how effective your content that you're putting out is. Okay. You're in LinkedIn with your personal name. Can I also be LinkedIn with my business name? No, you actually have to be there as the business owner. But make sure on your LinkedIn profile you have listed yourself as the CEO, the president, the owner, whatever upscale name you want to give yourself of your business name. Okay? I think CEO sounds really good. Okay, so that's that. And then step 3 is you want to create or improve those social accounts. And now I'm going to show you why this is important and help you decide where you need to focus. Because what I want to tell you is, number one, I looked and these numbers actually changed from the first time I did a similar course, the marketing system course last year. And so these are 2016 numbers. Your focus needs to be, beyond a doubt, Facebook if you haven't already started marketing there. So everybody needs to be doing Facebook. Everybody needs to be doing Facebook. Facebook is twice as visited as the next channel down. So you absolutely need to be on Facebook. And you guys see what the second one is? I know this will scare some of you. That's right. That would be YouTube. That would be YouTube. So we're gonna talk more about video marketing and how that relates to your business and your niche later on. But YouTube is really, it's extremely important to get a presence on YouTube. Okay. I don't know what Reddit is, but there it is on the chart, even above Twitter. So there's some interesting things happening as the baby boomer generations are moving on and the millennials are taking over. So I'm going to show you a chart on that in just a second. But you can see Twitter's really fallen back in popularity, and I would say don't worry about Twitter. If you're not into tweeting and you're not on Twitter, don't worry about it. And then you have Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Yahoo Answers, and Yelp. Pinterest, now, even though it shows 1.7% of the site being visited, I'd still say it's very, very important for eBay sellers. So don't disregard. I would put Pinterest above Twitter as important, okay? Oh, Reddit, the front page of the internet. I still don't know what that is. I guess I better look into it, huh? Interesting. Okay. So that would be my order for you guys to be looking into your presence. Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter, and then where you want to go. Now, if you are marketing to millennials, and millennials are age 18 to 34, okay? Look where they're at, because they're all using their smartphones, and the mobile craze is not going away. It's not going away. So Facebook, still highly, highly important. But then look at the next two, Instagram and Snapchat. I'm on Instagram, but I just can't figure that thing out. And I got to tell you, it drives me nutso when I see people sharing an Instagram post on Facebook with 10 gazillion hashtags. It makes me crazy. Now I'm almost 50. So if you're marketing to a 50-something-year-old woman, I wouldn't do that. But if you are in the millennial craze, then you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to speak to your customers. Twitter's kind of fallen down there, and then you got Google Plus and Pinterest and Vine and Tumblr. So there's lots of different places you can be, and what I want to say to you guys is concentrate where you need to be. So think of millennials as the new baby boomers. So they're going to start making up the majority of shoppers very soon. And it's really the baby boomers who still go out and go to the store. A lot of them are still very uncomfortable with buying something online. That's changing and evolving, but it's just never going to be as comfortable to them as those who grew up in the digital age. We still rule the world. I'll take it. Yep, yep. Okay. So don't ignore if and I would say some of you are really having to pay attention to that millennial market over others. Sensational finds. I'm pretty sure the millennials are who are going to be attracted to your fun. Uh, I always think of the kitchen stuff, because they're not as interested in the quality of the product as they are in how it looks. It just is what it is. Now, you who are selling antiques, you've got the baby boomers still because they're still in that age of quality over price. So it's different markets, different people, and that's why it's so important you know who it is that you are marketing to. So here's another fun chart. So not just millennials, but this shows all the age groups and which social platforms they're spending their time on. And again, I can post this over in the Facebook group because there's a lot of stuff here to consume. You can see that Facebook is pretty evenly laid out. Pretty much everybody's on Facebook, right? And then as you get into some of the other things, such as Instagram, you can see the younger ages up to about, looks like up to about 44, then it starts dropping off. Instagram, same thing, but you get Pinterest, and there's a lower amount for the 18 to 24-year-olds, and then they're starting to pick up at about 25. So the 25 to 54s, they're really on Pinterest. So really interesting information. And then you've got this Snapchat down here, and I have not quite figured out how Snapchat works for retail marketing, e-tail marketing, but it's obviously something that has to be looked at because these 18 to 34-year-olds make up a massive amount of the market. So something to pay attention to and trends to be watching. And you can see who's not on Snapchat. And so now I don't feel so bad. I'm in the top 17 percentile who's not on Snapchat. So there's a lot of us. I guess we just don't get it. So Instagram has Instagram stories. Like Snapchat, you can showcase your products in mini videos. Thank you for that information. So yeah, it's some new technology that definitely needs to be looked at. I'm not currently really using that because it's not who my market is. In both my retail business and in my service-based business, so some of you who want to develop a brand around, coaching, consulting, info products, you have to look again, who's your customer? And for me, it's the, I hate some of these terms. Like, what do we call ourselves, 45 plus? The awesome crowd, 45 plus. I mean, most of my appsters are in that range. Is that still boomers? Don't boomers cut off at about 50 something though? I forget what yeah, then there was the 57. Yeah. No, we're still baby boomers. See, I can't even figure all that out. All I know is I am not a millennial. So there's that little unknown space between the millennials and the boomers. So whatever that is. I think it was like Gen X. Wasn't Gen Z or Gen X, or they tried to put some crazy target on it or something, but it never really took off. Yeah, it was something like that. Whatever that is. Yeah. So, but the point is, know who you're talking to. Know who you're talking to and know how to talk to them. You guys have a lot to say about this, don't you? I'm like, Gen Y, Gen Y, Gen X, I don't know, Gen X, Gen Y. Yes. Do we have any millennials? I don't think we have any millennials. Yeah, I'm just double checking. Any millennials here? Let's see. Boomer through and through. Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't think I have any millennials. Whew. Would they admit it if they were? I think they would. I just don't. I really, truly, I don't. That's just not the demographic that I attract and speak to. Which means I'm kind of doing my target marketing well, right? All right. Got some Gen Xers. Oh, thank you. Jim did a little homework for me. So iGen, Gen Z, or Centennials born 1996 and later. Millennials or Gen Y born 1977 to 1995. Generation X born 1965 to 1976. Oh, I guess that's what I am. Baby boomers born 1946 to 64. Traditionalists or silent generation born 1945 and before. Well, there you go. There you go. Very interesting stuff. I'd love if you would post that over in the Facebook group, Jim. That's very interesting information. All right. So now let's look how brands are using these social media platforms. Again, look at Facebook. Now this is only through 2014. I couldn't find any more current information, but I'm pretty sure that's staying true. So Facebook brands are utilizing Facebook, and pretty much 100% of them have a presence there, which I thought was really interesting. Twitter is used for customer service issues a lot because it's kind of in real time on the spot. So a lot of brands use Twitter for people to reach out to them. That can work. I know I have used it when I've had a problem with specifically, I'm trying to think of a hotel chain or an airline, and you find their Twitter handle and you message them, they have departments that are on that because they don't want to get a bad reputation. YouTube. Brands are on YouTube. Video is big, you guys. Really, really big. Instagram, again, there you go. A lot of companies using Instagram. Google Plus, Pinterest. And you can see, don't ignore Pinterest. Pinterest still is a heavy player. And then I'm going to tell you right now, ignore these last four. You don't need to be worrying about them. Those look like they are some international sites. Tumblr never really took off. It just never really took off. And now you've got Snapchat, which came about, I think, post when this was done. So there you are. Okay. Let us, a Google Plus, yeah, you definitely can share things on Google Plus. Absolutely. All right. It never really took off, I think, like they wanted it to either. So if you're not on the main ones, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and Twitter, those are your top four to get figured out before you ever look. Or those of you who are marketing to millennials, absolutely Instagram and Snapchat. Yes. Okay. So I am going to use one of our graduates from last year's Danny App Marketing System to talk about creating and improving your website, because this is the next step. So if you have a website, it's about improving it. If you don't have that site yet, it is about creating it, okay? So our star award goes to Beth Kelly of busybethy.com. She created her website and her blog, and she's marketing. And if you guys want an excellent, excellent example of how to do this, boom, there she is. And she is in your Facebook group to answer questions as well. So definitely consider that a powerful resource because she has figured this out and she's doing a phenomenal job. as I said, in the Niche to Profit Academy, you have the step-by-step build your brand with WordPress workshop, and you can do it that way. If you want a VA to have access to that course, someone that you want to hire and do it for you following that, I'm happy to help you with that and give them access to that workshop. Or if you just need somebody to do it, as I said, I can connect you with someone who can set you up a very simple site. Now, they're not going to set you up the site like you see Beth has. They're going to set you up a home page and a blog. Okay, that's all that she's going to do for you for that price. But she could do more, and she's very reasonable, so that would be between you and her. So just ask me over on the Facebook group if anybody wants that resource. So when you get your site, now we've talked about acquiring your customers from eBay, and then what do you do with them? This is where you want to have an email opt-in, and that is what you see right here. So you want to create an email list opt-in. So that's going to require that you have a site such as Constant Contact, MailChimp. I like to promote Aweber because that is the one that I used for many years, and I know how it works. I can help you with Aweber. I can't so much with the other ones. And I am an affiliate. I will put that right out there. That is not why I promote Aweber. But if you are going to go with Aweber, I highly appreciate that you use the link over on the Niche to Success Danny prefers and sign up that way. Aweber gives a lot of flexibility in dividing your list into different categories of customers. You can send different things to different people. It allows you lots of options to create your opt-in. Now, I know Beth used, what did she tell me? I think she used Constant Contact. So she could probably help you answer questions on Constant Contact setup. But you want to have something that lets your people sign up to get more information, stay on your list, and give them some type of reward. So notice how she doesn't just say, sign up for my newsletter, right? It says, join the Inside Style e-zine. That's a little sexier than just signing up for a newsletter. Because when you ask people to just sign up for a newsletter, it sounds like you're going to spam them, right? They're thinking, oh, geez, what are they going to start sending me? Whereas this way it sounds cool, like, oh, information, and she even says, learn to be confident, strong, and busy with style with our tips and tricks. Nice. Count me in. And then she has a nice way of saying, don't worry, we hate spam too. You can unsubscribe at any time. You always want to have those settings in there. But this is what you do. Once you have a customer, invite them to stay on your list, to stay getting information from you. And to do that, you want to offer them something. In this case, all she's offering is tips and tricks on her e-zine. You could offer them a guide. You know, if you're got some very specific collectibles, offer them something to do with, you know, how to take care of their glass. So our own Matt, he could give some kind of a guide on, oh gosh, I had a thought and then I lost it, but you know, he sells parts to chainsaws and lawnmowers and all kinds of equipment. So his offer to them would be something that would be of interest to them in that respect. The top, you know, 5 brands that hold their value, or something like that, or the top 5 brands that are easiest to repair. There we go, something like that. So that way somebody gets something for giving you their email address. So the one I use over on Niche to Success that many of you have opted into is my 10 reasons eBay is better than Amazon guide. and it's just a download. It's a guide that I wrote. I made the little graphic that makes it look like it's a book, and boom, I've had thousands of people download that who are now on my list, and I know they came from that source. That's the other cool thing, is you can know where people are coming from and how you need to market, because obviously the people that download this are not my eBay customers, so I wouldn't want to send them the same information. I keep those two segments of customers separated and send different things. Okay, now if I can figure out how to get back to, there we go. All right, so that's something you're going to want to have on your website. That is what helps you keep track of your customers. Now, I've had you creating some content ideas. So as you create that content, you want a plan for how to use it. You want a calendar. So you can get a simple, regular old, like a little paper wall calendar. That actually is my preferred method because I'm not high tech. I get that, you know, the ones with the squares, and you can start writing in there what it is you want to start writing about. And I have a method for doing that that will make it easier. Now, I like to go a month in advance because I want to know what I'm going to be talking about a month from now so that I can fine-tune what I'm talking about now if I need to. Okay, it just keeps you being very consistent with your customer. So here are the 3 steps. Pick a theme for the month. Pick something that you want to be talking about and giving information. Now that can be a multiple part how-to series. It could be talking about decorating different rooms of your home, perhaps. It could be reviewing some trending products. It can be a mix of things that still come back to the same theme. I will answer that in just a second, Gail. So you want to pick a theme. Then decide how many articles to write. Some companies are in front of their customers every single day. Some are in front of their customers multiple times a day. Some are in front of them once a week, once a month. That is really something you need to decide how often you want to reach out to your customers that are on your list. Now, here's what happens. If they don't like what you're putting out, they will unsubscribe. Know what that means? That means they were not your ideal customer. Okay? So a good customer doesn't get offended or feel like you're spamming them. So that just means you didn't connect. So you really want to work on that connection piece and be very careful that you're not writing spammy things. When you give information that is of interest to someone, they're either going to read it or they're going to decide, you know, not right now, but they're not going to unsubscribe. So if you're giving something to someone every day that they find really interesting, they're not going to get offended and unsubscribe. If you're constantly giving them stuff that's not of real interest to them, or they feel like you're just trying to sell them something, they'll probably unsubscribe. I find that people are more likely to hit a delete key than an unsubscribe key. So don't worry too much about the unsubscribes. I don't even look at them anymore, as I just figure it's okay. They weren't the right customer for me. All right? So the last thing is write days and titles on your calendar. And that doesn't make much sense now that I read it. Write the titles on the days on your calendar is what I meant to say. So that's where just coming up with titles really makes sense. So you pick your theme, decide how many articles to write those titles. Before you even write the articles, write those titles so you consistently have your content flowing, and write those on the calendar on the days you want that content to come out. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, I don't recommend sending anything multiple times a day. That's not the business we're in. For some businesses, it makes a lot of sense. I have some companies that send those. I don't unsubscribe though, because every now and then there's something that's really appealing to me. But more the kind of thing that you're going to be sending is connection type information. You wouldn't want to be writing that much stuff anyway. I'd say once a week is the minimum that you want to be in front of your customers. The minimum. Couple times a week wouldn't hurt, as long as it's good stuff. Some of you do unsubscribe if they send them multiple times a day. Then you were not their ideal customer, right? Okay, so you guys good with how to plan your content? Right. And here I just have a little example of how you can even color code. So ignore what's actually written on this. This was a corporate calendar. But you can see some of their titles are color-coded so that they're the same type of article. So if you're doing reviews and say how-tos, or maybe you're putting out a recipe, color code it so you know that you're not putting too much of the same thing and you're getting a good mix. And that'll also help you track when you have a surge in sales. You can go back and see what type of article it was that you put out there and go, wow, I got to do more of that. Okay. So here's the fun part. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can look at a big brand that is similar or speaking to the same niche that you're talking about or talking to, and know that they're paying some pretty high-level people thousands of dollars to research and come up with content. Now, I don't want you to plagiarize and copy, but you can get inspired and write similar articles. So if they start talking about Christmas, might be time for you to start talking about Christmas. If they're talking about some trending movie, it could be time for you to talk about that movie. Look at magazines for ideas too. Absolutely, absolutely. So that's why finding that key business that is talking to the same niche of customers as yours is important, because you can get a lot of information from that. And if anybody is struggling with that, post over on the Facebook group. I'd be happy to help you find a big brand to follow and look at. Okay, here's some things that work. Babies and puppies. I don't know what it is we have about babies and puppies, but people, they've done studies on this. People are much more likely to open the email, open the article, read the article, repost, share, spread this social media love if it's got babies and puppies. So anything you can do that attaches those things is really, really good. Talk directly to your ideal customer. So when you're writing, write as if you are talking to one person. Speak to them directly, because remember, there's thousands more like them, and so each one will think that you're talking right to them, and that's very, very powerful connection. Tell a story. Our brains are equipped to decipher stories and to get information in a storytelling fashion. So whenever you can tell a story, utilize that the best you can. People really relate to stories. Step 8 is that you're going to test, evaluate, and adjust as needed. So you're going to create content. You're going to promote it. So when I say create, I'm talking about it being on your website, your blog page. Okay, that's the first place. That's the foundation. You promote it from there. You can put a share button, so it's really, really easy not only for you to promote it, and that's where you then put it out on your Facebook business page, your Twitter, your Instagram. All those places all come back to your website, because the website is where your customers can get on your list and engage with you and come back and buy some more. Engage. So if a customer makes a comment, if they share, if they retweet something, you want to be sure you acknowledge that. Jump in there and respond to their comment, thank them for retweeting, whatever that is, but that's engagement, is when you post, they engage, and then, or they comment, like, or share, and then you engage by doing something back. Okay? Optimize. So you're going to look at what people respond to the most and do more of that. See what your community is really responding to. And it's strategy. That's why have a plan, know your theme for the month, know what you're going to be talking about. So your strategy is to build that relationship and strengthen it. So ultimately, they feel like they need to come buy something from you. Analyze, lots of tools for that we can talk about, and then marketing. This is what all of this is marketing. Aha moment, the same content goes on all the media. Yes, yes, yes. That's the beauty. That's why I focus it all back to your website, your blog, because you put it there, you share that same content everywhere. That goes out. Now, YouTube is another animal because it's video. So let's talk about that for a minute. There are tools out there now where you can take a group of pictures, photos. I believe Beth has already done this. Again, she's a perfect example. You don't need to go make a fancy video where you have to get actors or be, I know some of you are like, I'm not getting on video. Even though video is very powerful and cool, and I think you all should do some kind of a video thing. But if that's just way out of your comfort level for now, take pictures. There's YouTube approved music you can put to it and do a little slideshow thing. Whatever it is, video is really, really powerful. And we're going to talk more about that actual content next time we get together. But this really is a process that I want you to be thinking about. Some of you are too shy for that. I get that. I get that. Yeah, slideshows are great. You guys always have new product and things. Or maybe you don't have to be on the video, but you can video a guide. Let's say you have, you sell Yadros and you want to show how to care for those Yadros. Record with just your voice and show the Yadro and maybe your hands and how you would clean it or take care of it and create a how-to video. You could do that. Some of you, we have a lot of fashion sellers here. It would not be out of the range of possibilities for you to put together a little day where you brought in a model to maybe model some clothing and do a little fashion show. How about that? Especially if you are developing your own private label branding, you're going to want to do things that bring people back to your brand. The possibilities are endless, and that we can come up with ideas for that endlessly. So that's the kind of stuff. Let's talk on the Facebook group. If you really don't know what kind of video you could possibly do, let's talk about that and get you putting something together. Even if you just have one, you want to have one that's out there on your YouTube channel because it's very, very attractive. Okay? So here's some things to remember. You're building a community, not just a following. The days of going and paying for likes and joining these big, humongous, buying a list and all that, gone. You don't just want a following. You want a community. You want people who want to engage with you. They want to know more about, they're waiting for the next new group of listings that you put up, the next things that come into your store, the next sale that you hold. That's community. That's what you want. That's what creates lifetime customers. Okay? Insert your brand personality. If you are a fun brand, be fun. If you are a very serious brand, be serious. If you're a professional brand, be professional, but let that come through in everything that you're putting out there to your customers? Well, most of all, you guys, experiment. Experiment. Find what works really well for your customers. And not everything you put out there is going to be a home run. Believe me, I look at my analytics sometimes and I go, well, I thought that that would really get some clout, and nope, 3 people looked at it, you know, 1 person liked it, and that just happens. So you just have to keep experimenting and finding what works. And I'm going to reiterate this again because this is super important. Remember, resist the urge to tell them what you sell. I know it seems so counterintuitive to not scream from the rooftops, hey, I sell plus size women's clothing, come buy from me, right? We feel like they're not ever going to come and shop and find something if we don't tell them. But I am telling you, if you resist the urge to do that and simply give them content that is appealing to them, that inspires them, that is something that adds benefit to their life, they will come find what you sell. They will come and hit the shop button because they feel like you know who they are. That's what people love. They love to know that the business that they're buying from understands their needs and that the product they're going to get is going to absolutely fulfill that need. Does that make sense, everybody? Awesome. That's why I'm not a big fan of the buttons on eBay where you can share your listings that are for sale, because that's basically just saying sale item, sale item. Now, let me just be clear. I'm not saying not to ever do that in your social media. You absolutely need to do a small bit of that, particularly on Pinterest. But let's use the 80-20 rule. 80% content, 20% items for sale. So here is your ta-da list for this week. It is complete the social media marketing worksheet, create at least 3 social media marketing goals, okay? Analyze current social media numbers and write them down. Know where you're starting from and going forward. If you've already been doing social media marketing, that's okay. Write down those numbers as of today. I used to have to do this. 2 years in a row, I was coaching with Michelle Sism of Decisive Minds. Every single session, we had to present our numbers. And by tracking those numbers, it helped me see truly what was working and what wasn't. And if I had a surge, I'd know exactly what to attribute it to so that I could do more of that. Super important. And then create your content calendar for the next month. I would love to see those, help you fine-tune them. Don't get stuck. Come to the group. If you're having trouble with something, if you're getting behind, if time is just slipping away, let's talk about it. And let's make sure that you are going into the next quarter just ready to fire off this stuff, bring people to your store, and have some crazy sales for the rest of this year. How's that sound? You had good results with top 10 colors for spring matched with 10 eBay items in those colors. Yes, yes, yes. You can absolutely do that for the fall. You bet. You bet. See, for me, you guys, this is where it gets fun. I love coming up with the article ideas and the content and all that stuff, and you know, even making memes. We didn't really get into that, but you can make a meme to put out on social media that has your brand. Again, I'm going to go back to our all-star, Beth Kelly. She's doing all of that. All right. Any questions before we go, you guys? A meme. Memes are where you take a picture and then you create some text on it and then you share that. So it's an image with text that you can create. All right, guys. Thanks again. Let me end the recording and I will come back and talk to you about something. Thanks everybody for getting through this. I know it's a lot to digest, but you are doing a great job.